Come see this thing 1557, Ladies After Party, Hunter Goes Off, Seeing the Struggle. This is a series where I summarize rantatonne posts made up of at least 3 things I've read, seen, or heard. First question, how much do beliefs affect what people say? All 3 sections today feature people who are identifying the same X that I can agree on, but then we disagree on the alleged Y causes that led to X, or the proposals they're making to address the negatives of X. First section, Ladies Night on After Party with Emily Jashinsky. Anna Kasparian. Kasparian makes a valid distinction between leftists who are ideologically collectivist versus liberals who use leftist policy as carrots to obtain political power. She points out the solution is giving the leftists more power, but then communism also exists, but she's a collectivist. She's followed by Evita Duffy, who is talking about the issues in the country and saying, okay, we need to have Christianity come back. But the Christianity existed and then it turned into statism, and the statists are now doing similar things that Christians had when they had more social political power. So I don't think the solution is there. Then towards the end of this, I realized that she's the daughter of the Duffys who are in Fox News. Even though she's earned her way, she would not be ashamed or say that, yes, having my parents be in Fox News has helped me in my life. Unlike this next person, does Hunter Biden speak for the politerati as an eliterati? People grousing about Colbert being firing are not being genuine. Otherwise, they would have done the same when Tucker Carlson got fired with the same number one show, more viewers and things like that. Colbert is being let go because his format just isn't that entertaining anymore. It just doesn't get eyes on there. People want something more genuine, like this Channel 5 interview with Hunter Biden, where through this long form conversation, it can make somebody feel like this is how he would genuinely be if you just met him at a party. And from his experiences with drugs and things like that, people have met him at parties and probably heard him speak this way, which reminds me of going to a party decades ago and meeting the child of a vice president who had been having a head-to-head with the lady Mary Jane. This is a sort of reality TV political theater that Trump is just a great example of. If you're interested in politics or family dynamics, check out the whole thing. I know there's clips out there like the one Hunter's talking about illegal immigrants doing menial jobs, which is a mentality that I expected to see from living in the suburbs of Washington, D.C. back decades ago, in large part due to how many families had nannies or landscapers and things like that were recent migrants to the United States of America, and the parents were just busy offered jobs and things like that. Then you add a few other things, and just like Kelly Osbourne, R.I.P. Ozzy Osbourne, had her little snafu on The View some time back when she was like, oh, who's going to clean your toilets, Donald Trump? That is a point of view that many of the literati in the United States of America hold. And even though Hunter didn't explicitly say that he isn't part of it, he is part of that illiterati. He's a politerati. He's not simply a statist, but he's someone who has profited immensely from the unique powers of being a statist. So it makes sense that he'll argue from the point of view that his father should be praised for having spent essentially his whole adult life as part of an institution that, due to its monopoly of violence over a given area, sets the laws those within that area are subjected to while obtaining exemptions for themselves, families, and connections. So I'm not saying someone as privileged as Hunter can't have struggles. He definitely has them. In fact, his privilege actually puts him in positions to experience certain struggles that are not even available to other people. But I'm also not going to break down in tears like this next person. Doth the gentleman protesteth too little? Ends with a reacception where I give thoughts about Abba and Preach reacting to a young lady's reaction to the reaction of a young man accosted in the street by some ruffians who are part of that 13% to commit a certain amount of crimes demographic that I think Hunter Biden would consider to be more indicative of that demographic. Rather than the man who became president, and due to his association with that demographic, the democratic system picked his father to be vice president, leading to Hunter, rather than being jailed for being one of those citizens that he says commits more crimes than immigrants, being a former first son who makes a living selling pretty decent paintings.